Right, this has actually been requested a lot lately. Walker Harris, is it actually any good? Well, define good. In terms of pure output, percent for percent, Walker Harris is the strongest set in the game. There is just one glaring issue with Walker Harris though. It's 5% all weapon damage, 5% damage to armor, 5% damage to health. Whereas other sets, for example, the top end meta set essentially for DPS, other than strikers, is Providence Defense. 15% headshot damage, 15% crit chance, 15% critical hit damage. So yeah, it can get skewed. It is simply just because of the percentages that Walker Harris falls behind. So, this is the exact build I'm running in the footage you can see behind you. Coyote's Mask with a crit chance mod. Walker Harris backpack. I've got Vigilance in, I didn't put the talents in, they don't really blend much. Crit chance, crit damage and a crit damage mod. Walker Harris chest with crit chance, crit damage mod. Contractors, Foxes, Walker Harris holster, and I'm running glass cannon. This gives me a total of 25% total weapon damage from Vigilance. With the short Coyotes buff, I get 166 critical hit damage. With the medium Coyotes buff, I get 151. I have 50% crit chance at short, and medium I have 60. However, if I just swap the Walker Harris pieces for 3-piece Providence Defense, the gift lends nothing to it. It's just perfect Vigilance. It's the exact same damage output. I end up with 60% crit chance without even taking into consideration Coyotes. And if I use the Coyotes short buff, I'm at 181% critical hit damage. The outlier actually here is the headshot. With Walker and Harris, I had 75% headshot damage. With Providence Defense, I am at 90. Now, weirdly, the major difference between these two sets is on critical headshot. Simply because of where they add together, your crit and your headshot will add together on headshot crit to form a different multiplier called headshot crit or critical headshot. Where Walker is doing 166 plus 75, Providence Defense is doing 181 plus 90. This is what is allowing you to get so much more damage. Alright, I'm going to try to do it this way from now on, so those on big screen can see the full picture on the bottom one, and those on mobile can see just the important parts. Top one is Walker Harris. As you should be able to see, hopefully, that body non-crit and body crit is doing more with Walker Harris than it is on Providence. Not by much, but it is doing more. However, this is where crit rates come into effect. Simply because Prov has an extra 10% crit chance, it will be critting more frequently, and therefore you will be able to get more DPS. On headshot crit, it reverses. Providence Defense is doing more on headshot no crit and headshot crit. Simply because of, as I said earlier, it's essentially 166 plus 75 and then 181 plus 90. You're getting so much more out of Providence. This does not mean though that Walker Harris is not worth it. In terms of overall DPS, I'm using a Shield Splinter Art. There's only like an 8.2% difference in output and overall DPS between them. Exact same build, just one's using 3-piece Walker, one's using 3-piece Prov. So if we use the power of imagination and basically code in Providence Defense so that it only gives 5% headshot, crit chance, crit damage, hopefully this table will show that Providence Defense doesn't really actually stand a chance against Walker Harris when it's on even footing with those stats. It's simply because of the size of the stats that Providence Defense gets that it actually wins. In a weird way, I'm telling you that size does matter. So now we know that Walker Harris is actually a pretty good set. It just fall short on the stats department. One, you tend to fall short on crit chance. If you max out your crit chance, you fall short on crit damage. One of the easiest ways to get around this is simply just by speccing for 50% crit chance and using coyotes. So to calculate this, I've done Walker and Harris using the short coyotes buff, Walker and Harris using the medium coyotes buff, and then I've done the middle build, which I've replaced Coyote's Mask with Seska, which puts us at a flat 60% crit chance, 141% critical hit damage. As you can see, Seska versus Walker with the short buff actually does beat it, but only by 0.62%. That's it. However, when we utilize Walker and Harris with Coyotes on the medium buff, we outperform Seska by 2.31%. So in terms of optimal output, Coyotes will actually beat Seska in this regard simply due to variable conditioning. At close range, you're losing nothing. Like, you won't even register that. I'm not even sure if the game itself will register that. So you might as well actually say that Coyotes at short versus Seska are pretty much even. They're the same. However, you are gaining more damage at medium. I could be wrong. The game might calculate it. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. But even if the game does calculate it, oh no, you've lost 0.62% in overall DPS. That is not going to matter. So now the question remains. We know Coyotes is probably best in slot with Walker Harris. Is 3-piece Walker Harris the best way to go? Now in terms of armor, obviously not. 3-piece Walker Harris is damage to health. Damage to health does not affect armor, so we're trading 5% damage to health for 15% more critical hit damage. Using a Grupo holster, we do 2.19% more than 3-piece Walker Harris at short, and we do 3.43% more damage at medium. However, Providence defense will still beat the added in Grupo by 5.2% at short and 1.72 at medium. So what's the difference when it comes to the health damage? So this is going to be assuming you are using an AR. The Grupo at short actually loses out to 3-piece Walker Harris by 1.18%. Grupo at medium beats 3-piece Walker Harris by 3.43%. However, Providence defense coming in, beating Grupo at short range by 10.07% and beating it at medium range by 6.43%. 3-piece Walker Harris is worth it. 2-piece Walker Harris with Grupo, Coyotes, Contractors and Foxes is probably going to be your best bet though. However, Providence does still beat it simply because size matters, apparently. Have fun, good luck, don't die. It's bad for the health.